großen Ensemble bei mir im Studio. Ich begrüße Taylor Schilling, die wir als Piper kennen. Hello.
Hello.
Ich sage Hallo zu Laura Prepon, die als Alex Voss unterwegs ist.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
Und ich habe außerdem bei mir Uzo Aduba, die als zusammen Crazy Eyes Warren spielt. Hey.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Is everything all right? You must have been pretty busy promoting season number 2 of season number 3 of Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a great thing that you travel the whole world to do that, right? Because I've seen photos of you promoting the series in Brazil. You've been all over the place with that thing. That's a new school way of doing things like that, because it's not like back in the days when a TV series was premiered in the US and then years later maybe the Germans were lucky enough to get it, get that part. And that's a cool thing. So you've been busy, and I want to say congratulations to all of you for being part of that beautiful series. I mean, it's a great, great thing. All the critics love it. The people, they are really loving it, and it's really a success on a worldwide basis. When you were offered the roles the first time, did you expect it to go so big? Did you expect it to be such a huge success?
Honestly, it's interesting because, you know, the material was so good, and Jenji Cohen's awesome, and I don't think you can really expect it to become the kind of cultural phenomenon it has. You can hope, but the fact that it's taken off the way that it has is incredible.
Yeah, and you did know that it's not going to fail, because I mean, Genji was working on Weeds before, and she knew how to make a good TV thing going, right?
Yeah.
It's special for sure. It's very special.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's loosely based on the true story of Piper Kerman, who had been in jail for smuggling drug money, and she wrote a book called Orange is the New Black about her experiences and how important are those experiences when it comes to staying realistic when filming. Because I get the impression that it's pretty realistic picture that we get from a time in jail, or from being in jail. Mm-hmm. How important was her book and her experiences for that?
I think that her book, you know, we really were true to her book for the first season. Mm-hmm. There was a lot to kind of motored through a lot of what she covered in her book, and really since the end of the first season, it's been all kind of the imaginings of the writers, and so it's based on that book, but it's certainly not a representation of that book. It's its own entity.
Yeah, but she does still visit the set regularly and then talk to you guys.
Yeah, Piper's still a consultant
cool.
on the show, so she's still around. Yeah.
It's cool too, because when you put a bunch of these actresses together, and you kind of see like different people have different chemistry, and like storylines start to kind of sprout off when the writers kind of see specific actresses together that might have like this cool spark. You know, like this season there's this awesome storyline with Pennsatucky and Big Boo. That's so cool. And I just feel like a lot of times they kind of, you know, these storylines kind of spread off of seeing how people together, which is cool.
Yeah, and maybe it's a good thing that there's a strong foundation that Piper's book is, on which the rest of the TV series is built. So after the first season, it might have not to do so much with the book anymore, but it's still this strong fundament that you're working on, right? Have you ever talked to other women behind bars for preparing your roles, or did you rely on Piper's ideas and experiences?
I think a lot of us read the book, you know, just to kind of get our way into the world and the mind of Piper Kerman, so that we could just understand what the prison that she went to was like. I know for myself, I had a strange fascination with Locked Up, which is a TV show on MSNBC in America. I would watch it. And for whatever reason, my sister and I used to watch that show constantly. But that seemed to be the majority of my interaction with the community. I did go to a prison near my hometown when I was a kid once, and for like a Scared Straight program. It worked.
So that's happening. Those are really happening, those Scared Straight programs.
That's like a real thing.
I'm even scared when I hear about them, actually.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
And what about you? Did you get in contact with other inmates, or
I actually tried to talk to the real Alex Voss, whose name is Clary Walters, but she was MIA season 1.
Oh, wow.
So I was not allowed to talk to her, but she since surfaced with her own book, and she actually sent me her book with a note.
No way.
What?
Yeah, which is weird because I was always a little like, it's weird when you're playing, you know, I mean, see, I'm sure you can speak to this too, but it's weird when you're playing like a real person because you're like, oh my God, I wonder what they think of what I'm doing, whatever. But yeah, she sent me a note, and it basically said that she loves what I'm doing with the character, and like she's a huge fan, and I'm like, whoa. So yeah.
Yeah, but that was a problem for you in the beginning too, right?
Yeah, girl.
That Piper was a real person. I've read that this was a problem for you in the very beginning of season 1, but then Genji was like, no, we're doing our own thing. Forget Piper.
Kinda, yeah. Pipe. I wasn't sure whether it was going to be, when we, initially heard about the project, if it was going to be some sort of like biographical piece about Piper Kerman, and if I was going to be, representing her to a T and what that looked like. And Genji very quickly let me know that Piper Chapman was not Piper Kerman, and I had, she wasn't interested in telling the story of the woman who wrote Orange Is the New Black. She wanted to be based on that, but I kind of had free reign to do whatever I wanted.
In comparison to 2-hour movies and old school TV series, you guys have a lot of time to develop your characters, right? It's been years that you are working in those roles. So how does that influence your acting in the show as well? Because that's something new. The old school TV series, you had to begin at the very beginning. It was an episode ended and it started at 0. So you had $3 million in season. You know what I'm saying? So these new school TV formats, how are those for you? And I think it's it must be brilliant to be an actor nowadays and to be part of these new school TV thingies.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's like just giving the audience power over the remote. The remote. They can watch what they want when they want to watch it, and it basically gives them freedom to either watch it like a marathon or take their time with it or whatever. But as an actor, it's interesting because for me, it's not that different. I mean, we still shoot for 6 to 7 months, and the only difference is that when it comes out, it all comes out at once. There isn't like the suspense from week to week.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, the filming process, I think it's still kind of the same, right?
I mean, you've been part of famous and successful TV series before, which were kind of the new school TV series,
right?
Already with characters who developed over all those episodes, and didn't have to start over again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, shooting is kind of like, I mean, we're going into season 4.
Yeah.
So by now we've kind of sat with these characters a lot and really know who they are, which is awesome.
Yeah. And but it doesn't lead to schizophrenic situations, I hope. so situations where you go like, I have to shake Alex off, or I have to shake Piper off now. I'm meeting my family.
No, nothing like that.
Okay. Now let's listen to a song that's part of season 2, I think. It's Bobby Hamilton with I Get Crazy. Crazy Eyes for you, Bobby Hamilton auf Flux FM. Und jetzt muss ich in der Tat mit Uzo noch mal kurz sprechen über ihre Rolle als Suzanne Crazy Eyes Warren.
Hi.
Everybody seems to be in deep love with Suzanne Crazy Eyes Warren. All the people I talk about are like, because it's another character that's developing over the series, right? Her heart is getting bigger and bigger, and you can see right into her personality, and she's still a little crazy. But that's the question that I have. How hard was finding the right amount of crazy for Crazy Eyes and for that role? Because if you were pushing too hard, it wouldn't be believable, or you didn't,
Yeah.
So how hard was to find the right amount?
For me, I guess I just didn't think so much about the crazy because they had described her as being innocent like a child, except children aren't scary when that first episode we met her. And so since she had the first scene where we see her, where Piper looks at her at the table and Suzanne's trying to offer her a seat, she doesn't have any lines, and Morello comes over and is like, come sit with us, not with Crazy Eyes. And I felt like everybody's calling her that. She doesn't need to do it as much as just like they're already telling us that she's crazy. So it's like she doesn't have to do it. Like she can just be like whatever. And so I just thought to myself like, okay, so this is somebody who's really in love with this lady, you know? I mean, who wouldn't be, right? So I just thought to myself, okay, well, why not then just let everything be just slightly off that she tries to do in terms of loving? So if she tries to like wink at Piper, it like turns into like a blink instead. Like she never quite lands the thing. So
that she sings chocolate and vanilla swirl.
Yeah, exactly. She's like going for it. Yeah. You know, she's not afraid to go for it.
And that's a cool advice for young actors. Maybe if the people are calling you crazy eyes in that movie, you don't have to act as crazy. Yeah. As if they wouldn't call you crazy.
Yeah, you just like can just do your thing.
That's cool. What I love about the series is the fact that it's addressing a lot of problems that the American society has. It's talking about a failing justice system, obviously. It's talking about racism and homophobia as well, obviously. Will season 3 be as close to reality as the previous seasons were? Is there that reality part in there still?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Genji doesn't like set out to like write some expose on these issues. They're just topics that come up in the environment that we're in. Yeah. And we don't, you know, she's not like writing about like corruption in the penal code, you know, the penal system or whatever, but it's definitely with the correction officers and everything that goes down in the prison. It definitely raises awareness with many different subjects. Yeah. And the way that it's written is really, you know, realistic and natural. And it's just, we're just telling stories, you know what I mean? But it is definitely raising awareness, which is great. Piper
Kerman actually wanted to change something with the justice system. That's why she brought the book out. Do you think that Genji would like to change something with that TV series?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime there's a positive effect on something, that's incredible. Yeah. You know, and the fact that a show that we're on could create that much of an effect to like improve things in our society is unreal.
I was like thinking, because she's done weeds before and weed is legalized in so many states now. Maybe she had an influence on that, and maybe she's going to have an influence on other topics with that series, Orange is the New Black, because I really think that's raising awareness about homophobia and racism. From people that might not be thinking about those things too much.
Well, I don't think an art,
normal private life.
Yeah, I think every artist has something to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you get on stage for a reason. You know what I mean? And I don't think she, like, to Laura's point, I don't think she like set out to like be like waving a flag of any kind. But I think she's not scared of the truth. Yeah. Exactly. You know? So she's not going to back away from something just because it makes anybody uncomfortable. And whatever comes out of that, if it's a dialogue, awesome.
Yeah. Right. And how is working with her? She must be a pretty inspiring person. I mean, with the stuff that she's done and with the way the series looks, she must be a great director. How's she working with you guys?
Well, Genji doesn't direct it.
Show running more.
But yeah, I mean, she's amazing. Yeah. She walks that really great line between comedy and drama.
Yeah, that's something that's so important for that series, right? If it would have been too dramatic, nobody could watch it because it would be like, oh, I feel so sorry for those women. I'm crying right now. I don't want to watch this anymore. But the other extreme would be that it'd be too funny and too harmless, right? For a thing, and that's a fine red line that you're working on.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance for sure, and she walks it well. All of our writers do, you know, and then they really give us creative freedom. They give us creative freedom to then, you know, portray these things. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool.
So you have a lot of creative freedom and you get to work on your own lines and stuff when you work with Genji? Cool. Yeah. How cool is the fact that so many supporters from the LGBT scene are on board right now? I mean, if we were tweeting about the fact that you were coming to an interview, and there was like a Twitter storm happening all of a sudden, and people from all over the world were sending kisses, you know,
sweet.
Yeah, some women were talking about how much they're in love with you and stuff. And how cool is that? That you're actually spokespersons for a transgender, lesbian, gay scene right now.
Yeah, I mean, the LGBT community they're an incredible fan base. Yeah. And the fact that, you know, these characters on the show can, you know, portray, you know, a relationship that they can relate to is incredible, you know? Yeah.
And then I got the feeling that their love is it's not just temporary. I think if you get that scene to be your fan, they're gonna have your back forever.
They're amazing.
Very
Truly.
There's no homophobic attack happening on you guys, never ever again. Because people are gonna have your backs.
It's great.
We are talking about the start of season 3 here, but you can confirm that you're working on, or that you're starting to work on season 4.
We're gonna be
right?
going back to season 4. Yeah.
Oh, cool! And that's gonna be out in 2016.
Yeah, probably around the same time, this time next year.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna come back and visit me again?
Yes.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
We keep the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that music coming.
So thank you a lot for visiting us right here today. Have great fun while shooting season number 4, and please, if you can, visit us again. We can talk a bit more. We'll listen to some more music together.
Awesome.
It's been a great pleasure meeting you. So